What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's discuss Monday Night Raw from March the 4th, 2024. The show was okay, but there was a lot of bad on this show. I'm not going to hold you guys up. There was a lot of bad on the show. Psych, not really. It was okay. What I didn't like was the lengthy promo by Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. So we kicked the show off with Cody Rhodes. He does his usual, what do you want to talk about? He mentions the city of San Antonio. Cody Rhodes said that he would love if they could speak about WrestleMania 40 in the main event with the lights on the brightest. In the biggest game of the year, he'll stand across from the greatest champion in company history, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. He said he's unable to talk about that because of a distraction. This distraction stings a bit. Cody Rhodes is talking about The Rock, and so loud boos of Rocky Sucks chants break out. Cody Rhodes said last week The Rock took to Instagram. The Rock posted a 16-minute video, deleted it, and then posted a 21-minute director's cut. He spoke on SmackDown. The Rock called the fans meth heads and talked about Cody Rhodes' dog. Something that you don't do. The biggest headline of them all, which made sure wasn't the headline, is that The Rock didn't accept Cody Rhodes' challenge for a one-on-one match. The Rock so elegantly spun that and changed the conversation. The Rock presented a new challenge, just like the politician he is, the one that everyone wants him to run for office. The Rock said the people don't want Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. People want Rock versus Roman. Then some peculiar thing happened. People started chanting something else. And then a massive "We Want Cody" chant broke out. WWE officials heard it. Cody Rhodes heard it. And The Rock heard it. The Rock definitely heard it because he called them crybabies. Now The Rock has presented an entirely different challenge that one just doesn't involve him. It involves his friend. So Cody introduces Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out. He has on some neon yellow jumpsuit. So Pat McAfee compares him to a highlighter, which I agree with. Seth Rollins is such a damn clown. So Rollins does his usual stick. Welcome to Monday Night Rollins. He mentions San Diego. My bad. San Antonio, my bad. San Antonio, my bad. I apologize. So he then asked Cody Rhodes what he's thinking. Cody Rhodes said that Rollins offered to have his back against the bloodline and said that Rollins stood next to him when he got slapped, even with a bad knee. The plot has been incredibly twisted. Cody Rhodes didn't even think he'd be at WrestleMania until he saw that stupid PowerPoint of The Rock and Roman Reigns' family being together and being better than everyone else's. Seth Rollins is ready to face Drew McIntyre, the man who pinned Cody Rhodes aside from Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes wants to say this to all the people to hear. They'll be facing two Mount Rushmore wrestlers. Cody Rhodes will totally be fine if Seth Rollins declined to be on board and have his back. So then Seth Rollins respects Cody Rhodes, giving him an out. He'll take care of Drew McIntyre. Seth told Drew McIntyre, as well as Cody Rhodes, the entire world, that some things are bigger than them. Taking down the bloodline is the biggest thing they can do. It's not just Cody Rhodes' story that needs to be finished. It's Seth Rollins' story. 10 years ago, they came in and they wanted to take the power from the top. Seth Rollins wanted to give the power back to the people. Roman wanted to keep all the power for himself. Here's the problem. They were so close. With The Rock and the bloodline, they were this close to Roman Reigns having absolute power. As for Rollins, The Rock is kind of over. As for Seth Rollins, he's over The Rock. So another Rocky sucks chant breaks out. Seth Rollins says The Rock does suck. Seth said The Rock hasn't been the people's champ or The Rock for a long time. Seth Rollins isn't going to call him these things anymore. Seth Rollins wants to come up with a new name for The Rock. So then Seth Rollins proceeds to call him Diarrhea Dwayne. And when I heard that, I wanted to burn my television. Whoever told Seth Rollins to say that should be fired immediately. Should be fired immediately. So then Seth Rollins goes on and says everything that comes out of The Rock's mouth consists of red baby poop. And I'm just like, oh my God. So then the fans start chanting diarrhea. Seth Rollins says, it's like, it sounds like San Antonio agrees with him. The Rock is on Instagram for 21 minutes. Starting Cody Rhodes' dog, saying he can take the World Heavyweight Champion, make the World Heavyweight Championship go away. Rollins dares him to try. The Rock said he made professional wrestling cool again. Then Seth Rollins says that Diarrhea Dwayne hadn't been cool in 20 years. What's cool is that this morning he received 100% medical clearance. Seth Rollins is back and ready to go. This Friday he'll be at SmackDown to confront the Bloodline. Rollins wants to know from Cody if he's got his back. So Cody Rhodes says that answering his question means a message to The Rock. Cody Rhodes says it's been a long time since The Rock was handed anything. When it was handed something, he's forgotten. The People's Champion is not a title in perpetuity. Cody Rhodes will be on SmackDown with Seth Rollins and the whole Bloodline in front of the great state of Texas. Cody Rhodes said he'll give The Rock a clear and obvious answer to what will happen at WrestleMania. And I'm just like, oh my God. This was entirely too long. I get what they were doing, but they could have done this in about 15 minutes. This was dumb. This was ignorant. This actually pissed me off. This was an okay segment, but it was far too long. And Seth Rollins doesn't even act like he's taking this thing serious. It's like, bro, like, he should be cutting a fiery, passionate, serious promo, and he's not. He's laughing, he's joking, he's acting stupid. And I get that he's in character, but damn. I mean, like, come on, bruh. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, SmackDown should be very exciting, but still, come on. Moving on. So this leads us into our first match of the night, which is Dominic Mysterio, or Dirty Dom, versus Gunther. So it's a non-title match. So Gunther gets the win via a powerbomb, and he turns that into a Boston Crab, and then Dom taps. This match was fine. I enjoyed it, man. Dominic Mysterio is getting better week by week, month by month. And this guy gets it. He gets it. This is great. This match was fun. This match was great. I actually enjoyed this. Moving on. So Dakota Kai is walking backstage with Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors, a.k.a. Damage Control. So Adam Pearce rolls up. He asks them what they're doing. Dakota Kai says they're here to scout the talent. Pearce doesn't believe Damage Control. And then Shinsuke Nakamura walks up, and Damage Control bounces out. Adam Pearce assumes that Nakamura wants to talk about Intercontinental Champion, so Adam Pearce tells him to meet him in his office. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. Moving on. So Andrade El Idolo will make his Monday Night Raw debut later on. That's cool. Moving on. So from earlier on in the day, Kathy Kelly asked KC Square, which is Katana Chance and Caden Carter, about losing the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. KC Square says they want to get back to the top. Carter says it's WrestleMania season. You either step up or you step back. So this leads us into the tag match between KC Squared versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler win via the cookie to clutch. I didn't give one single fuck about this match because I didn't watch it. Waste of time. Moving on from that. So immediately Dakota Kai gets in the ring and she asks Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark why they're looking at them like that. Dakota Kai wants to congratulate them on a good match. After the Kabuki Warriors retain their titles tomorrow night on NXT, they'll come back to Monday Night Raw at Houston, the far superior city, and give them a title match. They'll make sure that Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark cry like they did to Bayley. Baszler says it's about time. They'll see them next week. And then both Baszler and Zoe Stark walk off. Who gives a single fuck? This is a waste of time. This is an absolute waste of time. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark suck. Like, let's be honest. Like, they suck. And what they really need to do is bring the Kabuki Warriors to NXT, which is smart. But what they need to do is have the Kabuki Warriors lose, even though it's not going to happen. I'd rather see an NXT tag team, women's tag team, win that, because there's far more women in NXT than there are on the main roster. It's just a common fact. Moving on. But we all know that the Kabuki Warriors are going to win tomorrow. So, I mean, it's a given. Moving on. So, moving on. It's Judgment Day. They're backstage. And they're checking up on Dominic Mysterio. So, Rhea, she rolls up in and asks what he thought was going to happen. Damian Priest tells him to rest up. Damian Priest says that he'll take care of Imperium along with Finn Balor. As for JD McDonough, he'll take on Gunther next week. He'll take care of him. And then Andrade walks in and checks on Dominic Mysterio before saying, see you soon. And then they say they have to watch him. So this is fine. I doubt if Andrade will join the Judgment Day. I don't think he will. Moving on. So this leads us into Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. So basically, Liv Morgan gets involved, calls for a DQ. It's basically like a no contest, and then basically Nia wins by DQ. So Liv Morgan gets into the ring and smiles at Becky, and then Liv Morgan tells Becky to cry about it. Becky Lynch grabs her and starts to argue with her. Nia Jax pulls them both out the ring. And then Nia beats down both Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. So she takes them out, and then she also grabs a fan's hat and hits him with it a couple of times. And then she throws it into the crowd, and then she dips out. So that was pretty funny. It makes sense, though. Moving on. So we go backstage. We see Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. So Ricochet, he's in Adam Pearce's office complaining about all he can do, but he isn't getting fed. Adam Pearce says he respects Ricochet as the last man to hold the Intercontinental Championship before Gunther. Adam Pearce says he has a plan that just needs to be finalized. It'll make everyone who wants to be Intercontinental Champion, who wants the Intercontinental Championship shot, very happy. And I'm just like, what the hell? We haven't seen Ricochet in months. Ricochet's not going to do anything. Why would he even be on the main roster at this point? Send Ricochet back down to NXT. Like, come on now. Like, let's just be serious about it. Ricochet's going to do, has done jack shit on the main roster. He's done fuck all anything on the main roster. Nothing. Moving on. So Damian Priest rocks into the office of to Adam Pearce with JD McDonough. So JD McDonough wants a title shot at Gunther. JD McDonough tells Adam Pearce to put him in the ring with to put him in the ring with Gunther. Okay, who gives a shit? Moving on. So, backstage, Liv Morgan is walking backstage when Becky Lynch stops her. Becky Lynch is not happy that she interrupted this match. Last week, Becky Lynch was finishing up what Nia Jax started. That was to get back at Nia Jax, not Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan says this is typical of Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch says they can fight about it next week. Liv Morgan agrees and walks off. And then Rhea shows up, walks up to Becky Lynch and just laughs before walking off. That's all she does. So it just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why Becky Lynch is wrestling at all. She doesn't need to wrestle. You will have WrestleMania in 3.5 weeks. So why are you risking injury with Becky Lynch? The match should never even happen or took place with Becky Lynch and Nia Jax. That never should even happen. Again, Triple H has to think harder. He has to think wiser also. That's not a smart move, Triple H, man. It's not a smart move. But he's the Booker of the Year according to the Wrestling Observer. That's what he is. Not really. Not in my eyes. He's a fucking joke. Moving on. So, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce, he talks about the rich and storied history of the Intercontinental Championship. Finding a worthy challenger for Gunther at WrestleMania has been a challenge. Adam Pearce has zeroed in on 6 men who deserve an opportunity. Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Nakamura, Big Bronson Reed, JD McDonough, and Chad Gable all have been chosen. These 6 men will compete next week to find out who will face Gunther at WrestleMania. It will be a gauntlet match, and the winner will face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Okay, that's fine. Makes sense, though. I'm glad it's going to be a one-on-one match. I know I read reports where people were saying, oh, it's going to be a ladder match. Like, no. We're not going to see Gunther in a ladder match. Come on now. So, this leads us into Andrade versus Apollo Crews, who we haven't seen in months. Andrade was basically the babyface here. He got some cheers here for whatever reason, which makes sense. And Michael Cole mentioned Andrade's early career in Mexico, and as well as him being in CMLL. So that was great. So this leads us to Andrade versus Apollo Crews. Another guy who's just been there on the roster doing nothing for the past, 7-8 months he's been there, if not longer. So Andrade gets the win via the La Sombra, which is the Hammerlock DDT for the 1, 2, 3. So this is great. I do like this. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is if Triple H has no plans for not Andrade, but for Apollo Crews, why not stick him back down to NXT? Because NXT is ready to lose a lot of people in the next couple months. We're about to lose Braun. We're about to lose Carmelo in the next little bit. So they might want to bring in some guys that they don't have any plans for on the main roster back down to NXT. And Apollo Crews and Ricochet are 2 guys that I can think of off the top of my head. Come on. Let's get real. Moving on. So Jackie Redmond, she's backstage with Sami Zayn. She mentions that Sami Zayn has the opportunity to become the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship in next week's star-studded gauntlet match. Sami Zayn says we've all seen his highs and lows. The confidence has been shaken, but he had talked about his belief that a path to WrestleMania would reveal itself. Sami Zayn talked about doing something historic. This gauntlet match allows him the opportunity. This could be historic. This is Sami Zayn's path for WrestleMania. Sami Zayn has had a lot of matches This is one of the most important matches of his career. And then boring-ass, lame-ass Ivar walks into frame along with Valhalla. They walk up to Sami Zayn. They said they can't believe a pathetic man like him has a chance at WrestleMania. I can't believe that a pathetic man like Ivar is still fucking employed. So Ivar knows he can beat Gunther. Yeah, right. Sami Zayn knows that Ivar can not beat Gunther. Sami Zayn says that he can beat Ivar. Sami Zayn tells him to meet him in the ring. Ivar tells him to forget about WrestleMania because he won't make it to next week. And who gives a damn? So then we get a in loving memory of Paul, quote unquote, Paul the Butcher Vahan. Wow, man, that's crazy. So we send our condolences to his family. We send our love and support to his family. Moving on. So Candice LeRae, she's upset that they lost the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship opportunity at the Elimination Chamber. So Indy Hartwell assures her that they'll get another opportunity. But Candice LeRae says there may not be the next time. So Natalya agrees, and Tegan Nox says to Tegan Nox that they've lost momentum. When Tegan Nox eliminated her from the Royal Rumble, Tegan Nox says Natalya tried to eliminate her first. Natalya says she's the veteran and she'll help them regroup. Candice LeRae says Natalya's on to something. They need to forget about their manners. And then Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile walk in, and they come into play. They tell Candice LeRae that she's in a rough patch, but she'll come out of it. And then Candice LeRae says she doesn't need a pity party for someone who's only had like 3 matches. And then Candice LeRae walks off, and then Indy Hartwell apologizes to them. I'm like, none of this shit makes sense. This is all stupid. Throw all this shit into a wood chipper. All of it. Moving on. So, the Judgment Day, they defeated Imperium in a very decent match. For whatever reason, the crowd was on the side of Judgment Day. I have no idea why. It makes zero sense, but they got a bunch of cheers in this match for whatever reason, which was crazy to me. Could they be turning Judgment Day babyface? I don't know. That makes sense, though. So, Damian Priest gets the win via the South of Heaven. And then Pat McAfee wildly breaks down the end of this match on the testiculator, or whatever it's called. My bad, the telestrator. So this is a pretty good little tag match. Moving on. So Drew McIntyre, he's backstage with Jackie Redmond. She asks Drew McIntyre if Seth Rollins has listened to anything McIntyre said. McIntyre says Seth Rollins is a junkie, a spotlight junkie. His responsibilities are to Raw, but he's trying to... But he's tying himself up somewhere else. Seth Rollins has been around CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. Drew McIntyre doesn't care as long as Rollins shows up at WrestleMania. The World Heavyweight Championship deserves better than Seth Rollins, which I would agree with. As for Jey Uso, he wanted an apology from him. But he better apologize since Jay has no chance of winning tonight. Okay. So Damage Control, they're walking backstage. Rhea, she walks up and tells him to stay out of their territory. Out of her territory. And then her and Io have a little stare down, and then Io scoffs at her, and then they all walk out. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So, moving on from that, Sami Zayn defeats Ivar via the Haluva kick. Who gives a shit? So then, Sami Zayn gets to his feet, and then Bronson Reed shows up, takes him out. He hits the tsunami, and then he celebrates. It's like, who gives a damn? Moving on. So Kathy Kelly's backstage with Gunther. Gunther says Dirty Dom stepped up, but Gunther didn't question the outcome. She asked about the gauntlet match. Gunther says this should be a stacked deck because he's elevated this great prize to places it's never been before. It's great to see the creme de la creme of Monday Night Raw fighting for a spot to be outclassed by the ring general. Then Chad Gable walks up. He said that he's sick of his condescending smile. Chad Gable can get past that, but he can't get past what Gunther did to him after their last match. His daughter had tears in her eyes. Chad Gable said he'll do what he swore to do last September and take that title. Chad Gable will take that smile from Gunther and put it on his daughter's face. This match just means more to him. Gunther laughs and walks off, and then Chad Gable sneers at him. So this is great. This makes perfect sense. My picks to win the match next week are either Sami Zayn or Chad Gable. I'm pretty sure Triple H will probably go with Chad Gable, but then what do you do with Sami Zayn? And that's the question. I don't know. Moving on. So, main event Jey Uso says, for weeks, all he's heard is Drew McIntyre crying and complaining about an apology. Jey Uso says he's sorry for what he's about to do to McIntyre. Jey don't play. And then he puts his Yeet sunglasses on. Okay, cool. Moving on. So DIY, they're playing WWE 2K24 with The Miz, R-Truth, and Xavier Woods watching on. So R-Truth thinks that he's playing with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. The Miz said they need to get back at the Judgment Day and take their tag team titles. R-Truth is excited and calls them Regeneration X. Xavier Woods said that he wants to hate it, but he loves it. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so stupid. I forgot to say that that during the Sami Zayn and Ivar match, Valhalla gave Michael Cole the antlers, and he popped on that one. That was pretty cool. Moving on. So, main event. So, Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre gets the win because Jey Uso gets involved. Jimmy Uso gets involved, my bad. So, Jimmy gets involved. He wins via the Claymore kick. Cody Rhodes also gets involved to take out Solo Sikoa. And then Jimmy Uso, post-match, is going to grab a steel chair. He gets into the ring. Seth Rollins comes out, makes the save. He takes out Jimmy Uso. And then Seth Rollins eats a Claymore kick from Drew McIntyre. And then we go off the air. So that was fine. But Monday Night Raw could have been a lot better than what it was. These episodes need to be stronger because you only have 3 episodes left until WrestleMania. The same thing with SmackDown. Raw was kind of boring like it always is. That promo from Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, I didn't like it. Everything else just felt kind of mid. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.